Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on this NeoLoad version 4.2 overview. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Graham Perry. I manage NeoLoad sales in the UK, and I'm joined by Olivier Hanoun, who's Senior Performance Consultant at our head office over in France. This morning we're going to talk about the new features of version 4.2 of NeoLoad. We released this about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to talk a little bit about 4.2 and how we arrived at some of the features. Then I'm going to hand over to Olivier to take you through some of the new features in detail. At the end we'll have a questions and answers session, so if you have any questions, please feel free to use the question box at the right of your screen. For those of you who don't know, Neotis was founded in 2005 specifically to develop the next generation of load testing tool. Since then we've grown and we have about 1,500 or 1,600 customers these days in more than 60 countries. Predominantly head offices in France. We have operations in the UK, USA, Germany, Brazil and India. Neotis itself is not just a software development company. We do have our NeoLoad load testing tool. But we also offer service packages, which is a combination of consultancy and the NeoLoad license. And also we offer professional services to help you out with specific projects or do training for your people in-house. So we are a full service organization, and sometimes that's useful if you have a short fuse project and you need to get started. When we develop new features for NeoLoad, we do an annual release. Our input for that process comes primarily from customers, but also from market research. We have quite an active customer base who submit new feature requests throughout the year. We also do surveys with other non-customers to understand what the movement in the marketplace is and what new technologies or new features are required. In terms of 4.2, these features fall into 4 sections. The first one is enterprise and agile. More and more organizations are using load testing internally and looking for a load testing tool to support the new technologies. There's a huge movement to incorporate performance testing into agile development, and Olivier will be talking about that later. New technologies come out all the time, and what you'll be seeing today is our introduction of support for web sockets, but we also have other features such as video streaming. So anybody streaming video over the internet, we have a new solution for that. We integrate with third parties applications, and we'll be talking about app dynamics and how we integrate with application performance monitoring tools. And finally, you'll see an extension of NeoLoad in terms of what we can do in the cloud and how we've simplified the provision of cloud services through NeoLoad. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Olivier, who's now going to take you through some of the detail.
Thank you very much, Graham. Hello all, thank you again to attend this webinar. So I'm going to let you see all the new exciting features coming with NeoLoad 4.2. So like Graham said, the main lines are the following. So we are more enterprise focused and agile. So you'll see that. We've improved our collaboration features as well. You can now integrate all your performance tests into a continuous integration cycle thanks to our Jenkins plugin. So I'll show you that. That's very interesting. And if you're familiar with the App Dynamics APM, you can have NeoLoad working with it as well. So technology coverage. So you can see for those who are familiar with NeoLoad, all those technologies you know that we can cover. But now also we cover, like Graham said, WebSocket. We have new monitoring capabilities with MongoDB caching, integration with AppDynamics and the web server Nginx. So that is everything we can cover with NeoLoad. So now let's try to browse the different features one by one to see a little bit more in details what we can do with NeoLoad today. Collaboration. So today we can talk about the full collaboration with NeoLoad. Beyond the design and the results, all the NeoLoad objects and concepts can now be shared. So the scenarios, populations, load generators, and the monitoring settings. All the test members and the team can work together and move more effectively via a common tool. So if you want to compare with what was before, so we can talk about the 4.0 and 4.1. Before we were able to share the servers, the views, variables, project settings, and the resources. Now with the full collaboration with from 4.2, we can share in addition the population, monitoring agents, monitoring machines and the counters, scenarios, and the load generators. The only thing that are not shared today are the cloud sessions, graph templates, and the general user preferences. Here is a little overview of the graphical user interface. So you can see that in the tree, in addition to the virtual users, you have also the check virtual user population, the monitoring agent also. So everything is like before. The only thing is that now we can share the complete scenario you are doing with NeoLoad. Now let's talk about the continuous integration and the Jenkins plugin. Benefits in using continuous integration is, of course, to put yourself, all your project into an agile process. So therefore, you can easily detect the performance regression. You can test often also. Performance issues are detected earlier. And since the issues are detected earlier, they are less expensive to fix. If we talk in terms of deployment, NeoLoad can be installed on a Jenkins server, or you can just use a remote access through a Jenkins agent. The cost, of course, is free because Jenkins is open source and can be customizable exactly the way you want. CIS integration, so basically what you can do with Jenkins and NeoLoad, you can automate and schedule all the load tests, and you can integrate into a build process. So basically all the service level agreement results can be exported in Jenkins. All the performance results also can be exported, and you can directly browse from your Jenkins server the information coming from NeoLoad. To let you see, you have also in Jenkins, that you can see on the left-hand side, a new NeoLoad item. So basically this is a link to the NeoLoad report, which appears directly in Jenkins. In addition to that, all the trends are summarized into Jenkins. So all along the test you are doing, then you can see how the things evolve. And basically, you'll be able to get the response time, or the test result trend. So which is a very precious information because you can directly see if something is going wrong. Now let's introduce the AppDynamics integration. So basically with AppDynamics, NeoLoad can link the business transaction you do with the result in AppDynamics. So you can retrieve all the transaction name in the APM, okay, and therefore you can filter out the synthetic traffic. And of course, the aim is to find the root cause via the APM tool. The cost is typically the AppDynamic integration module. So here, if we try to summarize this slide, that is very interesting because for those who are familiar with AppDynamics, then you can merge all the results coming from NeoLoad and AppDynamics in one only location, which is something great because it helps, really helps to identify the bottlenecks of your solution. Now let's try to move to the probably the biggest feature of that 4.2. A new technology support coming with NeoLoad, the WebSocket. So you know that today, before the 4.2, NeoLoad was only able to record the HTTP traffic, any kind of web application, but over HTTP. Today that is not anymore the case. You can take advantage of this new way to record to get the information coming through the WebSocket. So NeoLoad provides a plugin architecture, okay, enabling to handle any type of text or binary message stream transported by WebSocket. Also, you have a full support integrated in NeoLoad for live streamer and caching. For those who are familiar with those technologies, video streaming. So basically, NeoLoad now supports all the standards for the WebSocket. It is a little bit like, in fact, the push, for those who know how the push works in NeoLoad. So you'll be able to see in clear text, something readable, all the information coming from WebSocket, which is really something great. Because now our solution, NeoLoad, is completely capable of working with all the web applications, not only the HTTP pure application. So you can see a screenshot where the full response is recorded in NeoLoad, and it is breaking down into different categories. You can see text 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is all the information coming from the WebSocket tunnel. Now we can move forward and introducing the what we could call the NeoLoad Swiss Army knife, the custom data formats. You understand why I'm saying this Swiss Army knife stuff? Because now with NeoLoad, you have the ability to handle all exotic data formats, which means anything you have done yourself, for example, communicating into a binary format, then you can build your own plugin, your own NeoLoad plugin, to convert this binary into text. So this is something really interesting because it gives you all improvement to look at your application in another way. Now you have not to deal with the binary anymore. Since you can get access to different APIs provided by Neotis, you can build directly your own NeoLoad plugin. So this is very something interesting because you can have like this a collection, libraries of plugin that you can use for the different tests you'll have against your different applications. It works, of course, for HTTP and WebSocket. Okay, so all the universe that NeoLoad can touch, then you can put your custom data formats. So just to let you see the way it works, basically you have your binary protocol, then you can decode through the plugin you are building yourself, and then it appears like text in NeoLoad. And of course, when you'll be playing back the scenario against your application server, then your plugin will be able to encode back the text to the binary. So all is done in Java. Okay, so you have to build directly your plugin in Java, and that is a pure custom code, which means that you have the support for any format you may have. Now, if we talk about the monitoring, I told you at the very beginning that we have done some improvement in our monitoring offer. Firstly, this is the NeoLoad architecture, and you can see that all is done remotely, in fact, for the monitor. What I mean is, if you look at the top of the picture, you have the NeoLoad controller, and at the bottom you have the application server. All is done remotely, so that means you don't have to install anything on the server side to get your information coming to NeoLoad. The only thing you can decide to install, in fact, is what we call the externalized monitoring agent that you can see. at the bottom on the left. It allows you not to open many ports through your firewall. So depending on what is the firewall policy you have internally, you can choose to install this NeoLoad monitoring engine, so which is in fact just 3 clicks before installing this onto a server. And only port has to be open, which simplifies a lot the installation. And all measurements can be retrieved by the NeoLoad controller. So keep in mind that all is done remotely, and if you want to simplify the situation, you can install the externalized agent just to have only one port to open through your firewall. Now if we get back to what has been improved, we have a new monitor, which is for the MongoDB database. Maybe you know this specific database. This is what we call the NoSQL database. It is document-oriented, stores JSON-like documents, and you have dynamic schemas. So it works pretty much the same as the other NeoLoad database monitors. And you can see the version we do support, the 2.2 and onwards. You can see that MongoDB database, in case you are interested in it, must have the REST interface enabled. So this is directly on the server. I told you just before when we were talking about the WebSocket, we have a full capabilities to do design on casing. Also, we can get information from the casing server through the new monitoring. So we have a strong partnership with casing, and in addition to be just compatible with the casing server, we can get the information using the monitoring module. So you can see all the things you can get, so basically coming from this video streaming stuff. Now we can talk about the cloud session. This one has been a lot improved, in fact, and it's a lot more simple than before. Now you have access to the Cloud Console through the tiny cloud you can see on the picture in the red circle. So you have only one button. Before you had more than that. Now you have only one button on which you have to click, which is of course a lot simpler. And what we have changed is typically the duration. So before you had to specify the starting date, the ending date. Now typically with the Cloud Console you have just to tell NeoLoad how long you want to be your session. Okay, so that is a lot simpler based on the experience we have had for the 3 past years. Also, you have the full control in your customer portal. So from the website, Neotis website, if you log in with your credentials, then you can get access to all the sessions running, and you can change anything you want exactly the same way as in NeoLoad. We do have a new pricing as well, which is much more affordable than before, since you'll see just here, it's $3.75. So you'll have the conversion rate just on the slide after, which is now a unique price for the cloud credit, which is something much cheaper than what we provided before. When you get access to your NeoLoad console, you have 2 new columns. They gave you more information about the median and max startup time for the load generator. That helps you taking the most appropriate zone in case you want to quickly launch a test. In fact, this is a sort of, if I can say, cloud platform forecast weather. So you'll be able to see from all the geos we can cover all around the world, the different startup time, and that helps a lot. If you really want to have an instance quickly launched, then you can choose the best zone for that. And again, all is available through the graphical user interface or through the Neotis web portal. I told you this is our new pricing. So you can see €3, $3.75, £2.55. And if you look at that just on the screenshot, you can see what I said, the median and the maximum startup time. So depending on what you need, then you'll take the most appropriated zone. Now let's move to the minor enhancement that comes also with the NeoLoad 4.2. What we call in NeoLoad the Sanity Check. This is a new pop-up you can have in NeoLoad. Basically, it centralizes all the inconsistencies of your project. So before, in NeoLoad, in 4.0 and 4.1, you had many boxes coming all along your project telling you that something is wrong. Now, before launching a test, for example, you can run the sanity check and everything gets centralized into this only one box. So, for example, like the screenshot can look, you can see that the license does not allow running a scenario if you look at the error you have. So you have the resolution, which is, of course, to go to the license management to change this license. But not only the license, here in the sanity check, you can have a lot of information coming just before running the test. You can see that this pop-up is automatically opened at key moment, typically when the project is open, before running a test, and when you want to do a synchronization with your NeoTeam Team server. This is for collaboration for those who know. Other new features, the single user activation. Now the license can be activated only per machine and not per user anymore, which was sometimes troubleshooting. If you have multiple accounts on your PC, then instead of running the license for activating the license for each account, now the license is only activated for the entire machine, which is a lot simpler for everyone. You don't need anymore to be an administrator of your machine to run NeoLoad. Okay, so this is only for Windows. You can run NeoLoad without being an administrator. Just keep in mind that some functionalities are not available in that case. The one emulation, RTMP, and consuming a rental day. Okay, but beyond that, all can be accessible even though you're not an administrator of your machine. And finally, that will be transparent, I guess, but a big improvement for the software, memory and better memory management. Okay, so this is something that is done now automatically, and the system can allocate what is needed in terms of memory automatically. New command line options. So for those who are interested in, of course, scheduling the test, if you want to be integrated within a continuous integration cycle, or if you want to be more agile, that's always interesting to be able to schedule some tests automatically. Then I just want to let you know that you have a lot more options than before. In addition to schedule the test, you can generate the reports in different formats. You can see XML, HTML, JUnit. You can automatically publish the results to the NeoTeam Team server in case you do collaboration. You can lease automatically a shared license, something very appreciable. And you can specify, you can choose what are the monitored hosts for the test. It is available for the command line, but also for the NeoLoad Ant task, which is something dedicated to the Java world, for those who know. So that was pretty much everything about the 4.2 version. I hope it was interesting for you. And now this is time for the question and answers session. So don't hesitate to use the text box you have dedicated to the question in your GoToMeeting panel, and we'll be glad with Graham to answer all your questions. I can see a question. I can see a question about the rich internet application. So we, in addition to the WebSocket and casing, we don't have much support of what we did before. So we are still compliant, completely compliant, compatible with the Flex RTMP applications from Adobe. All the push and Java applications as well, Ajax. Also Google Web Toolkit, JWT, and Silverlight. So for the rich internet application, this is what we can do. So for NeoLoad 4.0, and now today we can have, since the WebSocket is most of the time dedicated to, even though you can stream any kind of data, but it's most of the time dedicated to video, then we have also this WebSocket stuff with the casing agent. There is a question as well about mobile device. So NeoLoad is still able to load test your mobile applications. So you know that since 4.1 we have the tunnel mode, which is something completely different than before. We are able to record all the native applications, which is sometimes a little bit difficult. With NeoLoad you can. So we have different ways of recording, and you can record the native applications and all the web-based application, I mean in terms of mobile. So as soon as the record is done, then you know that you can simulate the perfect one emulation to get the more realistic conditions in terms of network for you. And finally, you can play back against your architecture to see the response times. Interesting question about the memory management. That we no longer, so does the new memory management mean that we no longer have to change the XMS settings in the controller configuration? Yes, you had before XMX, XMS, different settings to take into account the memory. Now all is automatically set up. I mean, you still can change those settings manually, but you may have good reasons for that. Now all is driven automatically. Are there any changes in the NeoLoad load agents? The default memory size, we were expecting this. Yes, of course, with the 4.2, so I don't have any figure here to provide you with, but I can get this information from the R&D and revert to you later on. But with the 4.2, of course, improvement have been done about the footprint of the load generator and the, even though the, what is the name, the virtual users. So of course, we have improved this memory management on this side as well. So can we test many devices which have the same application at the same time using these tools? Yes, of course you can. You can test as many devices as you want, and you can test as many applications as you want simultaneously. So your question was about many devices for the same application. Yes, that is absolutely possible. In NeoLoad, we have what we call a population, and you can dedicate a population to a different device. So if you have, for example, only one virtual user profile, you can build several populations based on this virtual user profile, and you'll be able to dedicate this population for example, a mobile phone, to a desktop browser, to anything you want. And finally, you can launch the test simultaneously with all the populations you have defined. Is there any implementation on the error count? You are talking about the 20,000 errors which are retrieved in NeoLoad. No, so the maximum is still 20,000 errors that can be retrieved in NeoLoad. If you want to have that figure changed, then you should talk directly, drop an email to the support at neotis.com, because you can. There is a key in the configuration file of NeoLoad. So the aim today is not to be that deep technical, but there is a key in the configuration file where you can set to have another maximum number of errors stored. Yes, question about the webinar and if we can have a copy of this webinar. Of course, it's been recorded, so which means pretty soon it will be on our website. So all of you guys who have registered for this webinar, you'll get the link to access this webinar and review, if you want, the different features we have talked about. Again, a question about the different operating systems we can simulate. Yes, you can simulate Android, you can simulate iOS, no problem. You can simulate BlackBerry, you can simulate a Windows Phone if you want. And simultaneously, of course, that was your question. So I'm reviewing the list of the question. For NeoLoad 4.2, there is no rental day count, right? That is not true unless I don't exactly get your point. Nothing has changed about the rental day, so you can still rent NeoLoad for a specific number of days. You can choose. Nothing has changed in terms of renting compared with NeoLoad 4.1. What I said is that if you want to run NeoLoad without the admin privileges, then you won't be able to use a renting license. That's it. But otherwise, all the features coming with the renting are the same, exactly the same. Can I run a script on both Android and iPhone devices? Yes, you can. That's a little bit the same question I had before. Yes, you can, of course. More generic question about the benefits of a NeoLoad versus an open source tool. Well, you know that we can talk a lot about that, open source versus commercial. Here with NeoLoad, you have a full integration with the graphical interface, which is something very quick to learn. Also, you have a full capabilities in terms of monitoring. So this is something, of course, very important as soon as you are doing real tests. If you want to do some analysis then and try to understand where are the bottlenecks, the monitors are just very, very important. And also the results part, which is dramatically better in NeoLoad. You have plenty of tools, filter, raw data to understand what is the situation, and you can issue a very good report. So if you want, you can have we can have this conversation as a topic later, but because it can be very long. But yep, using NeoLoad or an open source solution, of course it depends on exactly what you want to do, but the commercial solution gives you more things to definitely find what are the issues with your architecture. Is it a real device or a simulator? This is a real device, of course. I mean, we are. I mean, it depends on what you are talking exactly, but we are simulating the exact HTTP stream towards your application. But this is not a real device. If you want to for example, set up a test for 1,000 of virtual users using an iPhone. Of course, we have not 1,000 of iPhones behind NeoLoad. Of course not. Compatibility, backward compatibility. Thank you to raise up this question. Of course, NeoLoad is backward compatible with all the previous versions. The only thing is the onward compatibility. So if you have something done with the 4.2, you cannot open it with the 4.1, but everything you've done with 4.1, 4.0, 3.1 can be opened with 4.2 version. Question about the commercial license and the trial license. There's no update for that, and this is just the way we work. In fact, if you try to understand this, that is just normal. If you are trying to do something with a trial license as a prospect, you are trying our tool, you are doing, so you know that the trial license is definitely give you access to all the features of NeoLoad. If you are designing a project with your trial license, if you are doing a very short test of 10 users with the trial license, of course, if you buy our tool, you can migrate everything you've done into your commercial license. That is just normal. But of course, to prevent people using trial license instead of commercial ones, then if you are doing something with commercial license, for example, if you rent a license for 2 days, what has been done with a commercial license cannot be reused by a trial license, which is just something logical. Can my tester or project manager able to results? Test summary report 1 or 2 months back results. Of course you can, even years before. Of course you can. You can reopen any project in NeoLoad. I told you about the backward compatibility, so of course you'll be able to migrate everything you have from the previous versions, and you can reopen all your tests. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for attending this webinar. Hope it was informative and constructive for you. Thank you also for all those questions. If you have more questions, of course, do not hesitate to drop us an email, and you'll get the answer, of course, very quickly. So thank you very much. Have a very good day. And pretty soon you'll get emails with the video, okay, the link to our website to get the video of